Hi, I'm Allison Garner. I am with Thoughtly, and I would love to share one of my favorite topics, which is responsibility. I'd love to know what comes up for you when you hear that word. If you're like me, I used to think responsibility and blame were the kind of the same thing. That responsibility was like looking for where do I put my finger. And I come to accept a new, or not accept, but adopt a new mindset around responsibility that I find way more empowering. Essentially, we can hold responsibility in lots of ways. I'm going to make a distinction between two. One way is responsibility as like a blame finding mission. Like, who is to blame? It's either you, or it's me, or it's him, or it's her. But like somebody here is responsible. That's one way to hold it. The other way to hold it is from a lens of, or a mindset of, actually, we can all see our part in this. The questions I like to ask myself when I'm over here is like, how might I have contributed to how things went or are going? Or for what do I want to take responsibility? So you can see the difference. This is like a zero-sum game. Somebody's to blame, somebody's not. Somebody takes all of it, somebody else doesn't have any of it. Whereas this is kind of like, let's all get together and look at like, how did this go and how might we have contributed consciously or subconsciously. So I had a session with a team. It's a group of people, about a dozen. They've been working together for years, and that work is always really intense. And I show a lot of reverence for teams because they're very much like a family. There's a lot of shared history. These people have come to really love and care for each other, and they've also dented and bruised the relationships along the way, like we do because we're human. So I like to really make sure when I go in to those sessions that I'm really well resourced. In other words, like I've taken care of myself, I've eaten, I've slept, I've made sure I like energetically and mentally I'm clear and I'm prepared. And I was not any of those things. And I had done the physical stuff. I had slept and I'd eaten and I drank enough water, right? Those are the 3 deal breakers. I did all those, but mentally I was not doing well. I was really cycling. I had some stuff going on in my personal life and I wasn't in a place where I was 100%. I even thought like driving to their business, like, oh, I should probably cancel because I'm just not 100%. And yet leadership really, I believe leadership is about expanding. What can I expand to be with more of? And that means like, can I expand into showing up not 100%? Can I expand myself into leading from a place where I'm not 100%? What might that look like? Leadership, again, I believe, is practicing. And so this was an opportunity for me to practice. And it was super confronting because during the session, I knew I wasn't 100%. I could tell that the room wasn't really operating the way I wanted to. I was reading the room, the energy was kind of low. It was mirroring a lot of my energy, which is what leadership is. I could tell they were a little bit distracted. Yep, so was I. There wasn't a lot of play or wit in the room, which is, I love to have that as well. So as I was leaving, I poked my head in the owner's office and I said, how do you think that went? And he said, yeah, I think it went well. I wanted to ask you, I saw a look on your face today that I've never seen on you before, and I was wondering if you were okay. Boom, right? There it is. Like, I've been caught. And that's this responsibility mindset. Like, I am to blame for how things went. And not only that, like, what kind of leader comes in and lets people know that she's not 100%? Like, I should have hid that better, right? That's the one that I used to play in. And I'm really working on how might I have contributed to how things went that day. What do I want to take responsibility for? That's a really great question, because like I can want to take none of it, or I could want to take all of it. And so I'm really sitting in like, how much do I want to take on? And from there, like, what's next? I have a session with them this week, and I plan on having a bit of a postmortem of how things went and being really clear about like, I was not 100% that day, and I can own that. And I can own that I made the choice to come here anyways and to do the session at not 100%. And I was practicing, so I'd love to know, like, how did that go for you? What was the weight that I left behind? Stuff like that. So that's a really great example of like, I can choose this mindset of like, oh, I screwed it all up and I suck, or they suck and they screwed it all up, or whatever, versus like, ooh, that didn't go the way I wanted it to. It wasn't terrible, but man, that could have been more powerful. I wonder how I could have created that, or how did I create it? Like if I were to give it a grade, I'd give myself a C. Like what would have taken to be an A, and how did I bring in, or what did I do to contribute to getting the C? Feel free to ask questions. Below you'll also see a link to the website and the newsletter. If you want to be a part of our community, please join. We are always putting out content that we hope to be useful and valuable to all of you, and I would love to have you in our community.